So yeah, I talked him up. I'm totally gonna use him. It's the Fast Forces Star-Lord. Yeah, I'm making a soldier team. In my defense, last night I made a scientist team, and I just couldn't play it because I couldn't make the event. But I did make a scientist team, so I do some different teams every once in a while. But I am totally running Star-Lord, soldier team. Backing him up, I've got the Prime Captain Atom. He's just a nice little beat stick. He's got the Ring Shot, Psychic Blast, Leadership Enhancement, start at top dial. He's got Poison towards the end, and he's got that sick regeneration power where if I roll a 1, he does 2 penetrating to all characters within 3 squares. And, you know, just can jack anybody up. So that the 1 doesn't just screw me over, it screws everybody over. And soldier themes, of course. Soldier themes. Next up is a character that I strongly gonna believe is gonna be a power character once a lot of sets rotate out, and this is going to slide back into soldier theme teams as we lose Rocket Raccoon and other characters similarly priced. And that is the Chased Greenlight. Running Shot, Psychic Blast, Perplex, starting dial, but the thing that sells him for me more than anything is that crazy barrier that he gets on starting on click 3. Basically, you know, within line of fire, he can just block somebody up with barrier tokens and gives them Earthbound Neutralize. So they're pretty much taken out of the equation that turn, and then if they're stuck there when the barrier tokens go away, then they get an action token. So it kind of messes with them several turns in a row, and I'm totally feeling that quite a bit. Now he has to take a kind of good hit to get on that click, and I kind of plan on using him as a taxi and as bait. See if someone takes a good hit. If someone hits him too hard, of course he's got that stop click, and all I have to do is nail a Super Senses to heal right back up to that barrier click, and then, you know, trap people into place. But I'm hoping, you know, if I can sneak in a lure, throw him out there, bait, so someone hits him for like 3 or 4, he can suddenly do what I need him to do. Oh, I got 100 points left over, 105 points left over, so I decided to go with some, well, 2 of my favorite characters, and then the fact that these Fast Forces versions of them are just fantastic. I was looking for something with the shield team ability so I could extend his range quite a bit, and I found 2 of them that worked out great, what I was looking for. First one is the Fast Forces Nick Fury. He's got a trait that when he's adjacent to Agent Coulson, they both get to increase their attack by +1. So of course, I'm running Agent Coulson from the Fast Forces as well. That is 2 characters with the shield team ability, so I can buff up my range by +2. Agent Coulson, they're both running at 50 points. Agent Coulson's got an outwit. Nick Fury's got that special power where if he damages the character, he can cancel a power, or they can't use a power. So that's 2 sources of outwit. So one thing I really hope to do is exploit Agent Coulson's trait, the Call in the Reinforcements. Give Agent Coulson a power action and choose another friendly character of equal or less points. They're both 50 points. That shares a keyword with them, both soldier, and has no action tokens. Place that character adjacent to Agent Coulson. So schmack bam bam. You're like, whoa, what kind of cool thing is that? Well, all of a sudden I have 2 shield team abilities next to a ranged combat person, which I think is phenomenal. And I'm totally stoked on that. And, you know, because it's a place, if I needed to attack with Nick Fury, I could totally do it. Nick Fury now has a 7 range, and he's got that special power if I deal damage. With that 3 damage, I can turn off one of your powers or team abilities. So, yeah, pretty stoked about that. Okay, so I didn't get to play my team the way I wanted to, or at the event I wanted to, but luckily there was an event a week later where it's same thing, 400-point build, but you get to add a free ID card. Because I was 5 points under, I added 2 ID cards, so I got a booster gold for his crazy prop control attacks and his power, and then Nova from Guardians of the Galaxy for his crazy pulse wave that with the lock 2 damage. So it's adding those to my team and see where they take me. So how I do? I went 2-1. My first match was against a Felix Faust team, and to be fair, it wasn't like a Felix Faust team. It was a secret society team where it was a theme team. My opponent doesn't follow the meta. He doesn't know what didn't know what Felix Faust could do, so it wasn't like I'm gonna be out to shut you down kind of team. In fact, I had to kind of help him pick a power when he rolled the any, and that was my downfall because I got 2 yellow, his yellow rolls to the face. But I did put up a fight though. Alright, so this is kind of what happened. Pretend there is a wall in front of Felix Faust, and pretend he's about 8 squares out from where all this happened. So I had moved Greenlight up over here. I had moved Coulson up over here. I used Captain Atom to fly Nick Fury right here. And then I running shot Star-Lord to blow up the wall in front of Felix Faust. Now, Star-Lord had already had an action on token on, so that pushed him to his 11 attack and perplex. So I had perplexed up his damage again, and then set the pulse wave up so it would only have hit Felix Faust. Well, that was technically my second attack, so my 5 damage due to the damage depletion modifier became a 4 damage, and I only knocked Felix Faust to its last click. And that's really where I paid the price, especially considering that I could have flown Nick Fury Jr. right there and taken advantage of Captain Atom's enhancement for the full 6 damage. And that really cost me the game because it allowed him to take advantage of Faust's crazy dice rolls and end my game. So my second match was a little bit crazier. It was clearing the Witch Boy, possessed by Ion. It was something that had Blades, Claws, Fangs, possessed by Butcher. It was the Justice League Teleport with like 4 cards on it, and it was something. Oh yeah, the Rex Basin, the one from Batman, the super rare that if you moved like 3 squares or less, you could use Pulse Wave from one of the squares. So it was that. I got really lucky. I was able to position better, and I was able to one-shot Pulse Wave Clarion with the free action Pulse Wave. My opponent retaliated with his Blades character who's charged and blades my Star-Lord to death, but that was after the fact, so it murdered him. He got destroyed, and I was able to eventually capitalize and take the guy out. Now my third match was against an Ultron. It was a drone army with the 18.2 on his full dial. Alchema, whatever Ultron's second wife or first wife, I don't know what his weird backstory is. And that Ultron .1, the one that looks like a trash can that goes like this, that when one of them is when a Ultron is KO'd, you can roll a dice and on a 4 through 6, so that character comes back to life in the starting area. So there was that. The whole crux about it is the swing this guy out first and start smashing my team up, and then if as he gets close to damage, KO'd, to KO his own drones to keep healing him back up. So we went out because Alchema gave everybody free actions, 3 square sidesteps, so everybody was sidestepping back and forth to do all this crazy awesome stuff. And I went in, I started pounding on Ultron .8, and I set everything up so that I could get a final pulse wave off and finish him off so he couldn't use his special trait. And I needed a 6 and rolled a 5. And that was kind of the story of that match for a long time, because I kept needing 6s and kept rolling 5s. That probably happened like 3 times throughout the match. But eventually I was able to KO enough of his drones, and he'd bring a couple of them back, but most of them stayed dead. And I guess the real turning point in the game is that when I KO'd his 18.2, which forced him to KO his almost completely healed Alchema, or nearly topped out Alchema. Now it was just the Ultron .2 and the Ultron number 1, the one that goes wiggly arm number 1, and that was hiding in the back. So he only had 1 attacker, and while he took out Nick Fury and Cheese, I still had 3 attackers, so just a matter of whittling him down. And he eventually had to sacrifice the Ultron 1. Woo! I think if you're using Ultron 1, you should have to go like this every time you mention him or use him or anything like that. And I was able to win that. So that was my team. I'm going to say that every turn before I used my free action pulse save, I had to do a ton of thinking. Like, it was probably a 3 to 4 minute turn for me to position everything before I even did something. So I would imagine it'd be frustrating for my opponents. It was really frustrating for me because After I did one-shot that Clarion, I was like the whole rest of the game in round 2. I was like, just got really lucky in terms of my dice rolls and then my opponent's dice rolls. And that's really what won game 2 for me, not because I'm some sort of mad thinker or anybody with super skills. And like I said, that after positioning everything right for that round 2 first pulse wave, I was able to, you know, do well. And so yeah, if you're really good at positioning, I totally recommend this team. I'm sad to see the Star-Lord go. I guess we only have about a month, but if you got a month, you definitely should play with him. I'm super excited about how well Greenlight played for me. A lot of people, they didn't want to damage him. They didn't want to knock him onto his crazy cube power, his crazy, I'm going to trap you in barrier, and you're stuck there, and you have Earthbound neutralized, so if you try to move, you're going to, you know, take some pushing damage and fun stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see him. You know, I think after Rocket rotates, I think Greenlight will slide in Rocket spot for soldier teams. I mean, not that he doesn't provide the prob, but I think at that point of an attacker, he provides the utility, and I think he'll just definitely aid soldier teams. So as always, I'm eager to hear what you had built if you were playing this game. 400 points. The first ID card is free. Or what changes you would have made to my team in this instance. Thank you for watching. This is Matt with Heroic Tactics, and may all your dice roll hot.